Life has a way of testing us. Sometimes it feels like the universe itself is against you. The weight on your shoulders becomes unbearable. The people you thought would stand beside you disappear. The dreams you once held so tightly slip right through your fingers. And in those moments, you break. You break when you lose someone you love. You break when the doors you prayed for never open. You break when the world doesn't just knock you down, it stomps on you while you're down. But listen to me carefully. Being broken is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new one. Because when life breaks you, you face a choice. Do you stay shattered on the floor, or do you gather every broken piece and build yourself into something stronger, something unshakable, something unstoppable? Some of you listening to this right now feel like you're at your lowest point. You've cried silently at night. You've doubted yourself more times than you can count. You've thought, why me? Why does life keep doing this to me? But what if it's not happening to you? What if it's happening for you? What if the very thing that breaks you is the same thing that forges you? Like fire that hardens steel, like pressure that turns coal into diamonds, like storms that carve mountains into greatness. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Loss is not your punishment. Loss is your direction. Failure is not your grave. Failure is your foundation. When life breaks you, it's not a sign that you are weak. It's a signal that you are human, that you are alive, and more importantly, that you still have a fight left in you. Think about it. Every champion was once broken. Every hero was once on their knees. Every success story began in failure, rejection, heartbreak, and pain. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years behind bars before he became the symbol of freedom. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he gave the world light. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television before she became a global icon. Life broke them first, but they refused to stay broken. And that is the message I need you to hear today. It's okay to be broken. It's not okay to stay broken. You might not see it right now, but one day you will look back and realize, the pain that almost destroyed you was the pain that built you. The storm that almost drowned you was the same storm that taught you how to swim. The darkness that almost swallowed you became the reason you learned how to shine. So if life has broken you, good. Because now you have the chance to rise. Now you have the chance to rebuild. Now you have the chance to become the person you were always meant to be. This is your rebirth. This is your awakening. This is your moment. When life breaks you, let it break you open. Let it carve you, shape you, and mold you into someone so strong that no storm, no pain, no setback will ever destroy you again. The world is waiting for your comeback. But first, you must decide. Will you stay broken, or will you rise? Life is not fair. Let's admit that truth right now. There will be moments when you work harder than anyone else in the room, yet you're the one overlooked. There will be seasons when you give your all to a relationship, a dream, or a business, only to see it collapse in front of your eyes. There will be times when you pray, when you cry, when you fight with everything in you, and still lose. And it hurts. It hurts more than words can describe. Because life does not ask for your permission before it breaks you. It doesn't knock on your door politely. It storms in, flips your table, and shakes your entire foundation. Some of you listening to this know exactly what I'm talking about. You've experienced betrayal from people you trusted. You've faced rejection after rejection. You've watched doors close so many times that you stopped knocking. You've been through nights where sleep refused to come, where your mind replayed your failures like a broken record. And if you're being honest, sometimes you wondered if life was even worth it. Sometimes you wondered if you had the strength to take another step, to breathe another breath, to face another day. That is the reality of struggle. No one escapes it, not the rich, not the poor, not the famous, not the unknown, not the strong, not even the brave. Because struggle is the great equalizer. It does not discriminate. It does not care about your status, your background, or your plans. At some point, life will break everyone. But here's the paradox. While pain is universal, how you respond to it is what separates people. Some let the break destroy them. Others let the break define them. And a few, a rare few, let the break refine them. That's the difference. Not the struggle itself, but the response. Let me explain. Think of glass. If you drop it, it shatters. Broken forever. Now think of a diamond. Pressure doesn't destroy it, it creates it. The same force that shatters glass is the same force that forges diamonds. So the real question is, when life breaks you, will you be glass, or will you be diamond? Yes, life will test you with failure. You'll start projects that collapse. You'll take chances that don't work out. You'll invest your time, your money, your heart, and lose it all. But failure isn't final unless you quit. Failure is simply feedback. It's life saying, not this way. Try another path. Yes, life will test you with loss. You will lose people you love. Sometimes to death, sometimes to distance, sometimes because they simply walk away. And it will feel like your heart is being ripped out of your chest. But loss teaches you the value of presence. It teaches you to love deeper, to forgive quicker, to appreciate the time you have. Yes, life will test you with rejection. You'll apply for jobs and get ignored. You'll ask for opportunities and get turned down. You'll give your best and still hear, not good enough. But rejection isn't proof you're unworthy. It's proof you're aiming high. It's proof that you're daring to try. Yes, life will test you with betrayal. The ones you trusted the most may hurt you the deepest. Friends may become strangers. Family may not support your dreams. But betrayal shows you who's real. It strips away the fake, the temporary, the unreliable. It teaches you the priceless value of loyalty, and it builds your strength to stand alone. Do you see the pattern? Life's breaks are brutal, but they are not meaningless. Every struggle you face carries a lesson. Every heartbreak you endure plants a seed. Every fall you suffer gives you the opportunity to rise stronger. The problem is, most people don't look for the lesson. They only see the pain. And because they only see the pain, they think they're cursed. They think life is unfair. They think they're doomed. But listen to me. Life's greatest blessings are often hidden inside life's hardest struggles. The truth is, you will never know your true strength until it is tested. You will never know your true resilience until you've been knocked down. You will never know how much you can endure until you're broken and forced to rebuild. Think about a seed. It looks dead, small, useless. But when you bury it, when you press it deep into the soil, when you cover it in darkness and pressure, that's when life begins. You see, struggle doesn't bury you. Struggle plants you. And one day, if you refuse to quit, you will rise. You will grow. You will bear fruit. But here's the truth you must accept. Growth hurts. Transformation hurts. Becoming who you were meant to be requires seasons of breaking, seasons of loss, seasons of fire. You don't become strong by living easy. You don't become wise by avoiding pain. You don't become great by running from struggle. You become strong because of the struggle. You become wise because of the pain. You become great because of the breaking. That's the reality of life. That's the reality of struggle. So don't curse the breaking. Don't curse the struggle. Don't curse the nights you cry, the failures you face, the losses you suffer. Instead, see them for what they are, your training ground. Your preparation, your transformation. Because when life breaks you, it's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to build you. When life breaks you, you are thrust into darkness. And that darkness can feel endless. It's the moment when you can't see a way out. It's the season where your prayers seem unanswered, your strength feels gone, your vision disappears. You wake up and wonder, what's the point of trying anymore? You feel like the world has forgotten you. You feel like nobody cares. And the most dangerous lie you start to believe is this: maybe I'm not meant to make it. But let me tell you something. That is the fork in the road. That is the critical moment. That is the place where destinies are decided. Because when you are in the dark, you have two choices. You can stay broken. You can let the pain define you. You can surrender your future to your past. You can become bitter, hopeless, angry, defeated. You can let the darkness swallow you until you no longer fight. Or you can rise. You can take the pain and use it as fuel. You can take the rejection and turn it into redirection. You can take the scars and turn them into strength. You can decide that even though life broke you, it will not bury you. That's the choice. Stay broken, or rise stronger. And here's the truth. Most people stay broken. They let the heartbreak convince them to never love again. They let the failure convince them to never try again. They let the betrayal convince them to never trust again. They let the rejection convince them to never dream again. They become prisoners of their pain. They build walls around themselves thinking they're protecting their heart, but in reality, they're locking themselves in a cage. And year after year, they wither. Not because life was too hard, but because they surrendered too soon. But a rare few, the ones you admire, the ones you call heroes, the ones who inspire you, they make the second choice. They rise. Not because it was easy. Not because they felt ready. Not because the pain didn't hurt. They rise in spite of it. They rise with tears still on their face. They rise with scars still on their body. They rise with fear still in their heart. Because they understand this truth. Darkness is not the end, it is the beginning. Think about it. A seed must be buried in the dark before it grows. The stars can only be seen in the night. Gold must pass through fire before it shines. Your darkness is not your death sentence. It is your birthplace. But to be reborn, you must choose. You must decide. You must say, I will not die here. I will not stay broken. I will rise. And that decision will not magically erase the pain. It won't suddenly make the storm disappear. No, it will still be hard. You will still cry. You will still doubt. You will still fall. But this time, every time you fall, you will rise again. Every time you cry, you will grow tougher. Every time you doubt, you will learn faith. It's not about never breaking. It's about never staying broken. The crossroads of pain. Let me paint the picture for you. Imagine two people experiencing the same tragedy. They both lose their jobs. They both face financial ruin. They both feel broken. One of them collapses. They say, life is unfair. I'll never recover. What's the point? And they give up. They stop applying. They stop dreaming. They drown in self-pity until they waste away. The other feels the same pain, the same loss, the same fear, but they make a different choice. They say, this hurts, but I refuse to stay down. I will fight. I will adapt. I will rise. And step by step, they rebuild. Step by step, they climb. Eventually, they come out stronger, wiser, more resilient than ever. Same pain, different choices, different destinies. The darkness is not what decides your future. Your choices in the darkness do. The power of one more step. When you are broken, the future looks impossible. Thinking about the next year, or even the next month, feels overwhelming. So don't think about the next year. Don't think about the next month. Sometimes don't even think about the next day. Think about the next step. Just one more step. Can you get out of bed today? That's a victory. Can you write one more application? That's progress. Can you push one more rep in the gym? That's growth. Can you breathe one more breath and whisper, I'm not quitting? That's power. Because one more step leads to one more. And before you know it, you're moving again. You're climbing again. You're fighting again. It's not about giant leaps. It's about refusing to stop. And every small step you take in the dark brings you closer to the light. Choosing to rise. Let me make this clear. You will not always feel motivated. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel hopeful. But you don't need to feel it to choose it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite it. Strength is not the absence of weakness, it is moving forward while weak. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it is choosing to believe while doubt screams at you. When you are broken, the most powerful thing you can do is choose. Choose to rise. Choose to try again. Choose to love again. Choose to dream again. Choose to fight again. Because your choices in the dark will write the story of your light. So the question is not, will life break me? Because the answer is yes. At some point, it will. The real question is, when it does, what will I choose? Will you let the darkness bury you? Or will you let it birth you? Will you surrender to the pain? Or will you rise because of it? Will you let your story end in ashes? Or will you rise from them? That's your choice. That's your power. That's your destiny. Because when life breaks you, the final word is not spoken by the pain. It's spoken by your decision. Stay broken, or rise stronger. Pain is not abstract. It is real. It has faces. It has names. And throughout history, some of the greatest people to ever walk this earth were first broken. But what made them legendary was not that they avoided the breaking. It was that they refused to stay there. Nelson Mandela, The power of endurance. Let's begin with Nelson Mandela. He was a young lawyer, full of fire, full of vision, fighting against the injustice of apartheid in South Africa. But his stand for freedom came with a price. He was thrown in prison. Not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not even 10. Mandela spent 27 years behind bars. Imagine that. 27 years of your life taken away. No freedom, no family, no future. Most people would have broken completely. Most people would have let bitterness consume them. Most people would have surrendered their spirit to despair. But Mandela refused. Yes, life broke him physically. Yes, the prison walls confined his body. Yes, the years stole time he could never get back. But inside, he chose to rise. He studied. He reflected. He built his character. He sharpened his vision. He prepared for the day he would be free. And when that day finally came, he didn't emerge as a broken man. He emerged as a leader, a symbol, a president who would unite a nation. Life broke him, but he refused to stay broken. Oprah Winfrey, from broken childhood to global icon. Think about Oprah. Today, the world knows her as one of the most powerful women alive, a billionaire, a media mogul, a philanthropist. But her story didn't start in luxury. It started in trauma. Born into poverty, abused as a child, told she wasn't good enough. Even when she got her first big break in television, people told her she was unfit for TV. Broken again and again, she could have believed the voices. She could have surrendered to her scars. She could have let her past dictate her future. But she didn't. Instead, she turned her pain into power. Her brokenness became her bridge to connect with people, to understand their suffering, to speak to their hearts. And through resilience, through relentless determination, she rose to become one of the most influential people of all time. Life broke her, but she refused to stay broken. Thomas Edison, the power of persistence. Thomas Edison, the man who gave the world light. Do you know how many times he failed before inventing the light bulb? Over 1,000 times. Imagine failing once, twice, 10 times. Now imagine failing hundreds of times. Most would quit. Most would say, "This isn't for me." But Edison said something powerful. "I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. Every failure broke him a little. Every rejection tested him. Every mistake tempted him to give up. But he chose to rise again and again. And in the end, he gave humanity one of its greatest gifts. Life broke him, but he refused to stay broken. Bethany Hamilton. Strength after tragedy. Bethany Hamilton was only 13 years old when a shark attacked her while surfing. In one violent moment, she lost her arm. For most people, that would be the end of their dream. A professional surfer losing an arm. Impossible. But Bethany refused to quit. Within a month of the attack, she was back in the water. She retrained her body. She relearned balance. She faced her fear every single day. And she went on to become one of the world's top surfers, inspiring millions across the globe. Life broke her, but she refused to stay broken. Nick Vujicic. Born without limbs, born with purpose. Nick Vujicic was born without arms or legs. From the moment of his birth, life seemed unbearably cruel. As a child, he was bullied. He was depressed. He even tried to end his life at one point. But something shifted. He chose not to let his condition define him. Instead, he embraced it. He built a life of purpose, traveling the world as a motivational speaker, inspiring millions with his story of faith, resilience, and strength. He can't walk like others. He can't hold things like others. He can't live like others. But he lives with more joy, more courage, and more passion than most of the world combined. Life broke him from the beginning, but he refused to stay broken. J.K. Rowling. From rejection to revolution. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, J.K. Rowling was a struggling single mother. She was broke, depressed, and felt like a failure. She wrote her manuscript in coffee shops, often with her baby in tow, barely surviving. When she finally submitted her work, dozens of publishers rejected her. Over and over again, she was told no. But she refused to stop. She kept pushing, kept believing, kept writing. And eventually, one small publisher took a chance. The result, A book series that sold over 500 million copies, a franchise worth billions, and an entire generation inspired by her imagination. Life broke her, but she refused to stay broken. Your story, too. These aren't just stories of famous people. They are mirrors. Because your story may not be on television or written in history books, but it matters just as much. You may not be fighting apartheid. You may not be inventing electricity. You may not be building $1 billion empire. But you are fighting your own battles. You are facing your own storms. You are climbing your own mountains. And just like them, you have a choice. To stay broken, or to rise. The truth is, resilience is not reserved for the famous. It is not reserved for the gifted. It is not reserved for the chosen few. Resilience is a decision available to you. Right here, right now, the thread that connects them all. Look closely at every story I've just shared. Different people, different struggles, different time periods, but the thread is the same. They were broken, they suffered, they cried, they doubted, but they didn't quit. They refused to let brokenness have the final word. They chose to rise. That's the common denominator of greatness, resilience. Not talent, not luck, not wealth, resilience. The ability to stand back up one more time than you fall. The determination to take one more step when your legs shake. The courage to whisper, "I'm not done," when the world screams, "You're finished." That is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That is what turns pain into power. That is what transforms brokenness into beauty. You are next. And now, it's your turn. You've heard the stories. You've seen the proof. You've witnessed how broken people became legends. So the question is, what about you? What will you do with your pain? What will you do with your failures? What will you do with your scars? Because make no mistake, you are writing your story right now. Every choice you make in your darkness becomes a chapter in your book. And one day, someone will read it. Someone will be inspired by it. Someone will rise because you refused to stay broken. So let the world say of you what we say of them. Yes, life broke them, but they refused to stay broken. Pain. It is the one thing no human escapes. Pain is universal. It doesn't matter what language you speak, where you were born, what your title is, or how much money you have in the bank. At some point in your life, pain will knock on your door. It may come through heartbreak. It may come through failure. It may come through betrayal, illness, loss, or rejection. Pain is the great equalizer. But here's the truth most people miss. Pain is also the greatest teacher. Pain is energy. Pain by itself can crush you. But if you learn how to use it, pain can fuel you. Think of energy. Fire can burn down your house, or it can warm your home. Electricity can shock and kill, or it can light up a city. The energy itself is neutral. It's how you use it that matters. The same is true with pain. Pain can paralyze you, or it can push you. Pain can chain you, or it can change you. Pain can destroy you, or it can develop you. The choice is yours. Step 1. Acknowledge the pain. The first step in turning pain into power is honesty. Don't hide from your pain. Don't bury it. Don't pretend it doesn't exist. Because what you suppress will eventually possess you. Acknowledge it. Name it. Stare it in the face. Say, "Yes, I am broken. Yes, I am hurting. Yes, I am wounded." That's not weakness. That's strength. Because the moment you face your pain is the moment you start to control it. Step 2. Ask the right questions. When pain strikes, most people ask, "Why me? Why is this happening to me?" But the powerful don't stop there. They ask different questions. What can I learn from this? How can this pain shape me? What is this trying to teach me about myself, about life, about my purpose? Questions redirect your focus, and your focus determines your future. Ask small questions, you get small answers. Ask powerful questions, you get powerful answers. Step 3. Reframe the story. Every painful event is a story you tell yourself. If the story you tell is, "I am broken. I am a failure. I will never rise again," then your pain becomes your prison. But if the story you tell is, "I survived. I endured. This pain will become my fuel. This scar will become my strength," then your pain becomes your power. Same pain, different story, different destiny. Step 4. Channel it into action. Pain must move. If you keep it bottled inside, it will rot you. But if you channel it, it will rocket you forward. Turn heartbreak into the fuel to love yourself deeply. Turn rejection into the fire to prove your worth. Turn failure into the hunger to prepare harder. Turn loss into the drive to cherish every moment. The weight that crushes others can be the weight that strengthens you, if you lift it. Pain builds resilience. Do you know how muscles grow? They grow by tearing. Tiny tears happen in the fibers when you lift heavy weights. The body repairs those tears, and the muscle becomes stronger than before. Pain works the same way. Life tears you apart. It hurts. It breaks you. But when you heal with intention, when you push through, when you grow from it, you don't just return to who you were. You become stronger, wiser, tougher. You become unbreakable. Pain creates empathy. When you've suffered, you understand the suffering of others. A person who has walked through fire doesn't laugh at the burns of others, they recognize them. They connect on a deeper level. Pain opens your heart. It gives you compassion. It gives you the ability to lead, to inspire, to comfort. Some of the world's greatest leaders didn't rise because of their success. They rose because of their suffering. They knew what it was like to be broken, so when they rose, they lifted others too. Pain sharpens focus. When life breaks you, suddenly the noise fades. Things you thought mattered don't. The opinions, the gossip, the distractions, they shrink. Pain clarifies what truly matters. It sharpens your vision. It pushes you to focus on your mission, your calling, your why. Sometimes the breaking is not the end. Sometimes it is the breaking away of everything unnecessary, until only your true purpose remains. Pain unlocks potential. Here's the paradox. Your greatest potential is often hidden in your greatest pain. Why? Because when everything is easy, you don't dig deep. You don't test your limits. You don't discover what you're truly made of. It's in the struggle that your hidden strength is revealed. It's in the storm that your courage is born. It's in the breaking that your greatness is unlocked. Without pain, you would remain comfortable. But with pain, you are forced to grow. Step 5. Commit to transformation. Turning pain into power is not automatic. It requires a choice, a daily choice. Every day you wake up and say, I will not let my pain define me. I will let it refine me. Every day you choose to rise, even when it hurts. Every day you use your scar as a reminder, not of what you lost, but of what you gained. It's not a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. The diamond example. Think about a diamond. A diamond is just carbon, the same material as charcoal. What makes the difference? Pressure, heat, time. The very forces that could destroy it, transform it. You are the same. The pressure you feel right now. The heat of your trials. The weight of your struggles. They are not destroying you. They are shaping you. They are turning you into something rare, something priceless, something unbreakable. Turn your wounds into weapons. Your wound can be your weakness, or your weapon. The rejection you faced can become the reason you never quit. The heartbreak you endured can become the reason you learn to love more fiercely. The failure you suffered can become the reason you build something indestructible. Every wound can be transformed into a weapon for victory, if you choose. Your pain has purpose. Listen to me. Your pain is not meaningless. The struggle you are in today is building the strength you will need tomorrow. The tears you cry today are watering the seeds of your future. The scars you carry are not proof that you lost, they are proof that you survived. There is purpose in your pain. Always. Closing this section. Life will break you. Yes, that is inevitable. But whether you stay broken, or whether you rise stronger, that is optional. That is your choice. Pain will knock you down. But power will rise if you choose to stand up. Don't waste your pain. Don't let it be in vain. Take it, use it, transform it, because one day, you will look back and say, the pain that I thought would destroy me became the reason I discovered who I really am.